All right, right now you are looking live at two campaigns in two major battleground states. J.D. Vance taking questions right now. He is on the right side of your screen. He is in Detroit, Michigan. President Biden will be appearing on the left side of your screen. He will be speaking at an event in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, all of this as Vice President Harris is on a media blitz this week with less than a month until the election, after facing plenty of criticism from Donald Trump and Republicans for avoiding the press. Today, she is hitting several media outlets in New York, all of them unscripted, appearing on The View, The Howard Stern Show, and on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Let's bring in NewsNation's Kellie Meyer, who is following all of this live from the White House. And Kellie, the vice president seems to be more media friendly at this point.
And we'll see if that quiets some of the criticism, but she is wading into some friendly waters here as she just wrapped up that interview with Howard Stern after an hour or so. And it's a mix of traditional and not so traditional interviews here. And one Harris campaign official put it to us as this: Harris is seizing the opportunity to reach voters where they are. The idea is to hit a wide range of listeners and viewers with just 4 weeks to go until Election Day. So today, Vice President Harris taking a break from the campaign trail and hitting interviews across New York City. We mentioned the Howard Stern interview. We have a bit more on that as we're getting the notes in. As she said there, he said, if he wins, God forbid, would you feel safe in this country? And she said, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that he does not win, referring to Trump. Howard Stern also said the country is so angry right now. She mentioned that you have to remember the good. She also talked a bit about President Biden as we stand here at the White House. She said she didn't know that he was going to pick her to pass the torch. And she also stood up for him in this interview, saying that he still is doing a great job, saying, quote, he is not done. Here's a bit more from that interview just moments ago. Take a listen.
To your point, doesn't support our friend Ukraine, doesn't support, therefore, something America should always, and has always, by the way, been a champion of, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity, which means the importance of standing against anyone who tries to take another nation by force.
Right.
That's what we stand for as Americans, that you don't do that. And if you do that to our friends, we're going to stand with our friends.
A lot of talk about former President Trump in that interview. And now to answer the question as to why she's going on these outlets and doing these interviews, The View, where she was this morning, had 2.4 million viewers, or generally does. The Howard Stern Show estimated 10 million viewers. And The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, 2.5 million. And her appearance today on The View, she was trying to aim at older female demographic, the voters there. The Howard Stern Show, an audience that is nearly 3/4 male. And then The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where she will be later tonight, is popular among young men. Nichole.
All right, so Kellie, talk more about why we are also seeing both candidates who seem to be doing a lot of podcasts. What's that about?
Yeah, we're seeing both candidates taking advantage of this medium as it's been growing in popularity. Harris recently participated in that episode of the Call Her Daddy podcast. She is the first presidential candidate to ever appear on that podcast. It's really popular, especially among women voters. And Trump has recently been on Impulsive with Logan Paul, reaching younger male voters. The podcast Call Her Daddy was #2 in podcast today and ranks in the top 5 with up to millions of viewers a day. Some said the podcast was propaganda and not hard enough, but in the 60 Minutes interview that she did just last night, she faced some tough questions on her change in positions and her plans for the future. Take a listen.
The question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. And I plan on making that fair.
But we're dealing with the real world here.
But the real world includes...
How are you going to get this through Congress?
And former President Trump declined to participate in the 60 Minutes interview. Candidates have sat down with 60 Minutes dating back to 1968. We also see that former President Trump is jumping on the media blitz train. He's going to be doing interviews with Ben Shapiro, as well as an interview on iHeartRadio, we're learning. So he will also be on the airwaves as Harris is doing her media blitz today, too. Nichole.
All right. Kellie Meyer, live for us there in D.C. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.